Hi, looking at you, I believe you'll be having a now some time at the Reinvent Recap Pwani edition. I can't explain how excited I am to bring this to you and just present. I'd like to thank Jacob and the team for giving me this opportunity. I wish I could be there physically, but all in all, thanks to technology, there you have me. And I can't wait because we're going to be having more sessions together. This is the start of so many things that you're going to be doing together. So let's get on to this. And as you know, reInvent is one of the flagship AWS events, one of the biggest tech conferences. And after reInvent, that happens most of the time between November and December of every year, there's usually reInvent recap events that are organized by user groups to take stock of the different announcements that took place during reInvent. So without further ado, my name is Kevin Tuei. I'm a cloud technology consultant as well as a trainer. I do training across cloud computing and cybersecurity, as well as an AWS community builder, meaning that I take an active role when it comes to growing the community and moving on together. Again, I'm also an LX Gold Fellow. That just means that I graduated from an LX program, and not just that, I was part of the top 5% of top tech talent across all programs offered by ALX. So if you don't know what ALX is all about, you better look that up. So let's get on to this. So there are so many things that happened during reInvent, and one of the most thing that came out was AI, and it has been quite a theme across all the different organizations, all the different forums across the past year. So AWS came up with what we call the generative AI stack, and this generative AI stack, as you can see, it has what? It has like three layers, right? And then you can see it starts from what? Starts with infrastructure for foundational model training and inference. So here you now need the GPUs, the Trainium, Inferentia, SageMaker, Ultra clusters, EC2 capacity blocks, even Nitro and Neuron. All these form the kind of infrastructure that are required for training of and inference of foundational models. And then you now get tools that are built using these foundational models as well as the large language models. And one that came out strong last year was Amazon Bedrock, that now has these different announcements around guardrails just to make sure that you're not using the model to perpetuate things that are unethical. Then you have agents, then you even have customization capabilities. And what I love from Bedrock and what came about as a tool from it was Party Rock, which you're going to see at a whole what it's all about. Then we have other applications that now leverage foundational models. We have Amazon Q, and now Amazon Q is getting into different applications, for example, QuickSight and even Amazon Connect, although we don't use Amazon Connect more in this region, but something that is definitely worth looking into. Again, also we have Amazon Code Whisperer, which has been growing in terms of learning and also making it very easy for us to write code and even deploy infrastructure. It becomes like your AI developer companion. So let's move on with this. So let us see Amazon Q. What really is Amazon Q? So Amazon Q is your AI agent, if I can call it. Think of it like a chat GPT, but specifically for Amazon and AWS. So it has been trained on 17 years of AWS knowledge. It assists you everywhere you work, in the console, in your IDE, in your documentation. You'll always find these beautiful icons somewhere ready to help you. And when you click on it, you can just have a conversation, and you have to be good in terms of prompt, do some prompt engineering so that you can be able to leverage the most about this. So it works with you to build different features, refactor, and even troubleshoot on AWS. I've been using it for quite a while, and I can say it has really helped me understand and get perspectives from different things. And the lovely thing about Amazon Q is that you're able to do what? You're able to get recommendations, and you're getting also the links which you can refer to that Amazon Q would have said, I went here, I went to Stack Overflow, and I synthesized all this to give that to you. Again, as you can see here, how does Amazon Q look in your IDE? So we have it here, look at it, it's giving a chart, provide me with a description of what this application does and how it works. So you can see it gives you a feedback. This application is building the basic support ticket system using Python Flask and Lambda. It allows users to create, retrieve, and view support cases stored in a DynamoDB database table. And to create a new case, a post request is made to the create case API endpoint with a JSON payload containing the case details like title and description. Wow. So I can just select code and just ask Amazon Q, tell me what is happening in this application. Let me just get me up to speed on what is happening. And that is really, really awesome. Moving on, Amazon Q is also available in Code Catalyst. So Code Catalyst is one of the developer tools that have grown in terms of what it is capable of doing. It helps you create go over the heavy lifting around a code pipeline. You take advantage of blueprints. Even now we're having custom blueprints. And if I was to be asked, it has a free tier. Go check it out, give it a test run, connect it with maybe development code and see what it works. So you can see this is what is it. So you can see it can be able to be used for testing and even giving comments like just a human being would. Then Amazon Q is also found in code transformation. You can use it to upgrade Java applications in a fraction of the time. So what that means is you can, for Java, you need to update it in terms of the different levels when there's updates, and can help even in enhancing the security and performance of your code. And you already know that is very important for every developer. And again, with cost in mind, when your code performs better and you're leveraging serverless services, you get a lot in return and more money in your pocket and less onto AWS. So then something that is coming soon is that there's an acceleration to the migration from Windows to Linux. So if you're having code that is running on Windows and you want to transform that code, you can accelerate that migration from Windows to Linux, and that is coming soon. So remember, it's still in preview, and that means that you can start testing it and leveraging some of the features that you might find that they need to be paid for. Then there are new enhancements that have happened on Amazon Code Whisperer. Code Whisperer is your kind of a coding companion, and from it it can give you code suggestions which you can review and apply onto your code as you're coding. Right now it has customization capabilities, and it has now support for CloudFormation, talking about YAML and JSON files. You can also use it for CDK, the Cloud Development Toolkit, and TypeScript here and Python comes into play in terms of the enhancements, and then again HCL as part of HashiCorp Terraform. So it is now available in Visual Studio. It's still in preview, so that means that you can take advantage of features that may become premium when it gets into general availability. Then we have Bedrock. So Bedrock became, like, for example, the one of the largest machine learning announcements that came from AWS. So it provides an easier way to build and scale Gen AI applications with LLMs and other foundational models. And the good thing with Bedrock, as you're going to see, it also integrates other models, not just Amazon's Titan foundational model, and it gives you a broad choice of these foundational models, and you can even customize the foundation model using your organization's data privately. So you get now these enterprise grade security and privacy, so that you don't have to leverage tools that you might be providing your organization's confidential data, and it is now being trained on it. So it gives you that assurance when it comes to security and privacy. As you can see, as what I mentioned earlier, you can use Jurassic from AI21 Labs, which gives you contextual answers, summarization, and paraphrasing. You can use Cloud by Anthropic. It still also provides some materialization, complex reasoning, writing, and coding, and even Command plus Embed as a model that helps you with text generation, search, and classification from Cohere, and even Llama 2 from Meta. It can help you with Q&A and even reading comprehension. Then we have Stability.ai's Stable Diffusion model, which gives you high quality images and that. And I can't tell you how much these images look when you start setting up, even when you're having it on Party Rock, which you're going to see. Then we have Amazon Titan, which gives you also an ability to summarize text, generate some text, and also do search and Q&A. And it has been used widely, especially in Amazon Q, and you're going to see how these things work for you. Again, also, as you can see, it also still gives you an ability to leverage upgraded versions of these foundational models. For example, Cloud 2.1, which gives you a 200K token context window. If you don't understand what this is all about, I would advise you do check out something on large language models. And then there's a double reduction in the hallucination rate, which is quite fine. So hallucination is where the model is confidently giving an answer which you already know that it's actually wrong and logically not correct. Then you have 25% reduction on Bedrock. That is cost reduction, and that is something good, because as always, anytime you have more money in your pocket, you can do more. And even this is another announcement that came from Bedrock, that is now it supports Llama 2 70B. So that means it supports large scale tasks like language modeling and even dialogue systems. That's quite something. So moving on. So this is some of the different Amazon Titan foundational models. So first of all, it gives you Titan text embeddings, which now helps you in terms of transforming that text or translating text into numerical representation, which is very important. And then all these other suite of Titan foundational models, which is Titan Text Lite, Titan Text Express, and Titan Multimodal embeddings. All these are new, came out from reInvent. So we had Titan Text embeddings, and now we have all these other suite, and still helps you with all these different application or use cases. For example, summarization, copywriting, fine tuning, open-ended text generation, conversational chat, RAG, retrieval augmented generation support, then search, recommendation, and even personalization. Wow, that was quite something when it came out from reInvent. Okay, and then again we have one more that is in preview, as you can see. That is the Titan image generator. So it helps you to generate realistic studio quality images. And the only thing I can tell you is go try these out on your console, especially when things are in preview. You can use your developer or your development AWS account to test out these things and see what you can take into production. Then we have the customization capabilities that you mentioned. You have the ability to fine tune Cohere Command Lite, Meta Llama 2, Amazon Titan Text Lite, and Express are now generally available. And then fine tuning the Anthropic cloud is coming soon. And right now in preview we have the continued pre-training for Amazon Titan Text Lite and Express. So you can pre-train your models so that by the time, and you can pre-train it with the organization's data and get what you want from it. So there's still also another service, or I can say feature of Amazon Bedrock that became generally available during reInvent, and that is knowledge bases for Amazon Bedrock. So this is now the fully managed native support for retrieval augmented generation. If you don't know what RAG is, I would advise please do check it out. And in the age of AI, these things become very awesome for you when you're just searching it out and tell it, maybe explain to me like a 5-year-old what RAG is all about. Then you can now automatically convert text documents into embeddings. You can store your embeddings into a vector database, your vector database, and then you can retrieve those embeddings and augment them and augment the prompts with it. So that is your knowledge bases for Amazon Bedrock, which is now generally available. And then also remember that vectors are critical for customizing GenAI applications. And this is just an example. You can see, for example, looking at it, like these one vector, cat, a kitten, feline, old. It has canine, for example, that is, and you can see it comes together. And if it's dog, and you see it has different colors, all feline, puppy, all these are vectors and can really help you in terms of what you do. Then again, you have vector support for Amazon Document DB. So you already know that Document DB is a service that can help you make sense of your documents. You don't have to wonder. You're given a stack of documents that you need to make sense of. So Amazon Document DB now supports vector search. That means that you can now store, index, and search millions of vectors with millisecond response times. That is quite something. Can you imagine what that can do for you when you're able to make sense of documents by searching millions of vectors on what Document DB has done for you? So we have also vector databases for Amazon Bedrock, and all these the 3 that are there, and 2 are coming soon. So we have Vector Engine for Amazon OpenSearch, Serverless, Redis Enterprise Cloud, and Pinecone. And then coming soon, we have vector databases that are going to be there for now: Amazon Aurora and MongoDB. Wow. Again, as I mentioned earlier, when you're starting out, these agents for Amazon Bedrock. So what the agents do, they help in executing multi-step tasks across the company systems and data sources. So you can enable GenAI applications to take actions in pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks, and you can break down and orchestrate all these tasks and execute API calls using the agents. So you don't have to do these things manually yourself, and the agents can securely access and retrieve the company data and help you in terms of coming up with your GenAI application. So that is agents for Amazon Bedrock. So these are some of the things. For example, look at this scenario. So we're having a request that has come through, and then the Amazon Bedrock agent makes sense of that. And then we're having a foundational model that is going to now generate a sequence of steps, get to know the information that is needed, and even now the APIs to call, and even when to call them, having all that and much more. So the foundational model executes that plan, and at the end of it all, you now get what you needed. All that done by an agent that has resolved a task that was from a request up until a task, all possible through the agent. Now in preview, we also have model evaluation on Amazon Bedrock. And the reason why you can see there's a lot of Bedrock here is because AI is not just the next big thing. It is already here. It is the big thing. So one thing that is very important that is transparency and getting to know what the model is doing. So you can check, you can evaluate, you can compare and select the best foundational model for the use case that is applicable to you. So now in preview, you can do model evaluation from within Amazon Bedrock. Again, very important, and this is something that is also close to my heart, is guardrails for Amazon Bedrock, which is now currently in preview. We already know that it is very important to ensure that there's responsible AI, such that the AI is not being used for unethical things. And one of the things that you can do in terms of safeguarding your Gen AI applications is setting up guardrails. And now with that, you can just easily configure harmful content filtering, so the model will not give answers that are clearly unethical or can harm other person's well-being. Then you can apply guardrails to any foundational model or agent applicable all across. And then you can even use the guardrails to remove the PII information in model responses, and that is coming soon. So very important, you can be able to check and test out these guardrails on Amazon Bedrock. And one thing, as a person who is an AWS community builder in DevTools category, AWS Application Composer in VS Code was something that I was really excited to test out the moment it was announced at reInvent. So it is now generally available, and you can visually orchestrate, come up with your infrastructure as code directly from within your IDE, and it makes a lot of sense when you look at it. And I can just give you an idea of how this looks like, and just that give you an idea, a very quick thing. So I'm having my Visual Studio Code here, and you can see I can just create a new file. Okay, I can just use even these and these. I have this folder called Application Composer that I had done, and it is coming up. It's come up. Awesome. So what I've done here, as you can see, okay, I was doing just a static portfolio site, and I created this test.yml, and this I didn't do it manually. So what I did, I can just create a new file, and I call it maybe my infra.yml. Yeah, so I've just created it, so it is done. Then I can just say, you can see I have this option. I can right click, then I can do open with Application Composer. So once I do that, just close this, and then it opens up. So instead of using Application Composer on the console, you can leverage it from within. And you can see the Amazon queue is also here, so you can easily now use it from here. You can ask it questions and it can give you answers. But here you're having, so Application Composer gives you an idea. So even I can edit this in Application Composer. So I don't know why, maybe it could be my network. So let me just see if, let me just close that, my infra. If I go to test and I open Application Composer, so it should be loading up on this end. But anyways, you can test it out. It usually gives you a visual overview, and you can easily create resources but visually instead of even typing and worrying about the things that need to come up. It's something that would be awesome for you to deep dive when you look at it. Okay, so you can just drag and drop resources and connect resources through a visual canvas. You can use GenAI based code suggestions to use any of their 1,000+ CloudFormation resources. That's quite something. Then now AWS Application Composer is part of the AWS toolkit for Visual Studio Code. So what that means is you need to have that extension. You need to have Visual Studio, the AWS toolkit, and you can get it. This one, the AWS toolkit, and you can see it includes Amazon Q, Code Whisperer, Code Catalyst, Application Composer, support for Lambda, S3, CloudWatch Logs, CloudFormation, and many others. So you can see that. So that is possible for you. So moving on. So you can see this is just an example. So you can see someone as doing this. So you have Application Composer app, you have a template.yml. So at the moment you drag an event rule, you can see the event rule is being updated, and then right now you can just connect, you can just connect, and then you can see the code is created through AI. You can see that. So that you can see, and you can see I just use create. You can see it was how do I use Amazon Event Bridge with GameLift Flex Match to trigger a Lambda when a potential match is created. I want a cloud formation for this. So you can see these are the different steps. So create an event bridge rule that matches the potential match created event. So you just selected that, and then you can see it was able to create an event rule and call it such. You can change that, and you can see here it is, and then event detail potential match created, and then you can see once the moment it was connected to the game session manager Lambda, it was created. So this just from within your Visual Studio Code you can be able to do this. So also something that came out new from reInvent was generative AI CDK constructs. So if someone is using as a developer the CDK and the CDK construct, this is something that you can definitely check out on GitHub. So again, something that came generally available is now we have AWS SDKs for Rust and Kotlin. And already you know this plays a major role, especially when it comes to serverless development and when it comes to mobile development within using Kotlin or Rust. Again, also for step functions, 3 more capabilities came out. That is HTTP endpoint integration, and you can now have native Amazon Bedrock integration. That makes a lot of sense when it comes to you want to leverage step functions and Amazon Bedrock to be part of step functions. You can integrate that. Then you have new test states API, which is also something very important when it comes to step functions when you're looking at doing tests from within your step functions. Also, something that came out generally available now is the Amazon SageMaker Studio Code Editor. So this is now a new IDE option. Looks like a Visual Studio Code if you look at it really well, and you can see it is a new IDE option based on Code OSS. So that is something very important. Moving on, I'll be moving a bit faster now so that I can give you time to enjoy what you're doing out there. I really wish I was there. So also you have CloudWatch pattern analysis and anomaly detection, which is very important when it comes to looking at what you can do, and even security when it comes to security. So you can do visualization for patterns, and when you're querying your logs, you can compare. If there's a compare mode that helps you to quickly find the changes that have happened over time. And again, with anomaly detection, you can evaluate incoming logs against some of the historical baselines, which is very important when it comes to log analysis. So again, something that I really loved when it came out, still in preview, is Amazon CloudWatch application signals. So application signals helps you understand, especially this comes when in the time when it was very difficult to know what is happening from within EKS applications, the Kubernetes. So you can just from within, for example, you can see when you enable the application signals, you can use a service level objective, an SLO, and take an example. For example, your users are saying that they cannot schedule visits. For example, it's a dig deep and see what is happening and just get to know from within the CloudWatch console error is. Yes, so that is application signals. Do check it out from within CloudWatch. Then again, now secrets manager, we had an issue every time you have to upload, you have to retrieve a secret. It had to go through multiple API calls, and now with the batch get secret value, which you can identify and retrieve secret groups with a single API call. So with one API call, you can get a list of secret names, their or even ARNs, along with the different filter criteria, for example, tagging. So when you tag your secrets, you can retrieve them using that criteria. Again, also we now have generally available Amazon Inspector, and within Amazon Inspector, we have now Lambda code scanning with GenAI. So it means that you can now look at your function code for different security issues, for example, risks of injections or data leaks, and also any weak or missing encryption. This is quite something, especially in the era where security is job zero. Very important to know how you can even get actionable security findings, which include some of the different code snippets that are affected when it comes to security, and even some suggestions on what you can do. Not just telling you have found a security issue here, but also suggestions on how to remediate so that it doesn't become an issue. That's awesome. Power of GenAI within Amazon Inspector. Then again, still we also have other aspects. For example, container image security. You can scan your container images for any security issues from just within your CI/CD pipeline, and you can also work with CI/CD tools hosted on AWS on-premise or even in hybrid clouds. Again, also now in preview, you have agentless So as you see, let me just confirm that we're moving on very well. Awesome. Sorry, there's something that came up from here. So again, we also now have agentless vulnerability assessments for EC2. Very important when you're looking at EC2 instance monitoring without the need for even an agent. You can now take EBS volume snapshots and even do some vulnerability analysis. Again, also in terms of security, for ECS, there's general availability, but for EC2 is still in preview. We now have for Amazon, for AWS Guard Duty, we now have ECS and EC2 runtime monitoring. So this is from within Guard Duty. For example, you can see you can do some runtime activity to detect some of the different threats to your compute workloads on ECS, including the Fargate, EKS, and EC2. So you can see, for example, here right now, you can see healthy EKS clusters. In this scenario, there's no EKS clusters, but there's one ECS cluster which is healthy. There's no EC2 instances, and you can see some of the different coverage. For example, in this cluster, it's called space, and you can see it is auto-managed, and runtime monitoring is quite something. We also have now generally available IAM Access Analyzer, which gives you simplified access inspection. So for any different for example, if you have unused access, it can tell you, you can bring them up visually, and you can see, for example, in this case, this ice cream store something, it has quite a number of all these that are in red are unused access. So there's no need for having access that is not being used. So IAM Access Analyzer is now easy, makes it easy now to simplify how you look at access. Then we have unified building and cost management. Some of the things that people are always curious about is what is happening, why is my bill as this and that. So you now have a unified console with recommendations and insights to help you understand how your spend is going on, some of the different issues that are there, and how you can save money. So you can now have what we call the billing and cost management home, and also gives you a cost breakdown on all the different services and what is spending, how much it's costing you. You also have, from within the management console, we have my applications, and now that one helps you in terms of monitoring and managing the cost, health, security, and posture and as well as the performance of your application. So it's usually a very rich dashboard, and you can look at it from within your console called My Applications. Then again, we also have, from within the cost issues, is the AWS free tier usage API. So most of the time we've been wondering what is happening with our free tier. How did we get to a point where we exhausted our free tier usage? So you can now compare your forecasted usage to the free tier, so that you can avoid unintended charges coming through when you're thinking you're in the free tier, and you can even programmatically track your free tier usage against the monthly usage limits. So that is really, really awesome. Thank you, Amazon Web Services, for this. Again, we also now have the infrequent access class for CloudWatch. This is very important. For example, we need to maybe retain logs for quite a number of time, and they're not queried frequently. So that can be a good use case when it comes to forensic analysis, because this new log class is very cost effective and can help you in terms of log consolidation. Again, something that came out from reInvent is now with Systems Manager, which you already use. You already know that System Manager helps us in terms of managing configurations across a fleet of resources. So you now have automation, low-code runbook design, so you can just do a drag and drop of automation actions and AWS APIs and connect them as steps. You can also do have different features, for example, a guided flow, and even some of the recommendations for best practices and highlighting of the different errors. It also currently integrates with Amazon Code Guru security, and you can use it now for embedded Python scripts. Wow, this is quite something. In terms of storage, you have now the Express One Zone. I'll not take too much time on that, but now I already know that S3 is a very reliable object storage service across the globe. I can vouch for this. And now the fastest object storage class for performance critical applications is the Express One Zone, and it can support millions of access requests per minute with single-digit millisecond latency. Wow, that's mind-boggling. So there's also new bucket type pinned to the availability zone of your choice. So this is quite something. You can check it out in terms of Express One Zone, especially when dealing with performance critical applications. Then we have mount point for S3. So we have the container storage interface, CSI driver for Kubernetes, which is now available. And now there's even added support for the new S3 Express One Zone storage class. You can see how they connect. Then we have EFS. You already know it's our file storage service. There's now a new archive storage class for long-lived file data that is accessed a few minutes a year or less. And then infrequent access storage class, price reduction by 36%. Wow. Infrequent access storage class for EFS. Now with that. Then again, also another thing that came out for EFS is that it now supports up to 250,000 read and up to 50,000 write IOPS per file system. Wow, it only gets better from here when it comes to storage. When it comes to backup, now for AWS backup, it now supports automatic archival of EBS snapshots into the EBS snapshot archives. This is really helpful because you want to get to a point where you don't have to come in and do these things manually. Then you can restore testing, and it helps in performing automated and periodic restore tests and backed up resources. In preview, once again, we now have the Amazon Aurora Limitless database. We know there are some limits within a single database instance, and now with managed horizontal scale out, you can go beyond those limits and leverage the Amazon Aurora Limitless database. But still remember, it's still in preview and things may not work as intended, but they're still iterating as we move on. Then we have generally available come through. Now we have Amazon Elasticache serverless. So we now have a serverless Amazon Elasticache configuration for Redis and Memcached. And this is very important when you're trying to look at how can you cache data that you're using in these kind of clusters, the Redis and even Memcached. Very important. Now you also now have Amazon Q generative SQL within Amazon RedShift. This is really something because now you can author or you can simplify how you write queries by just now expressing queries in terms of natural language. For example, you can just ask it, can you give me the best, the top selling products within the last 3 months, without even thinking about the SQL behind it. And with Amazon Q, it will convert that into SQL and give you the answers. Wow, talk about no longer having to deal about learning about query language. Also, now have the importance of Zero-ETL integrations. And that means is right now, the whole process, the whole heavy lifting around extract, transform, and load, it takes a lot of time when it comes to leveraging big data for data analysis. And now in preview, it is available for Aurora, PostgreSQL, Amazon RDS for MySQL, and DynamoDB. Again, also, this is also supported in OpenSearch. When you talk about the integrations, now there's a lot of integrations taking place, Zero-ETL integrations. So that means is you don't have to do ETL when you've integrated these two services. So this is happening when it comes with Amazon OpenSearch with S3, DynamoDB when you've integrated it with OpenSearch, and also when you've integrated Amazon Athena with AWS CloudTrail Data Lake. All these are available in preview. And then, wow, we're getting to the end of this party rock. It's time to enjoy the party. And this, if you're there, please do check it out. Jacob, please make sure that the team members, the participants, register on partyrock.aws and then do something for it. So here it is. Let me just show you very fast how this happens. So I'm having, I don't have access right now because of network issues currently, but do check it out. You can scan the QR code or you can just open partyrock.aws, sign up. You can build Gen AI applications by using a prompt. I yesterday created a trip planner. I love traveling across not only just the country but even across the continent. So as I just gave it a prompt, create an app for me that will give me I can give it a destination, and then it can give me some of the estimated price cost it can take, and can even give me an idea of what the different destinations that I can visit. For example, if I go to Mombasa, if I go to Diani or Watamu, what can I expect from there? What are the different cuisines? All these possible through Party Rock. So with that, thank you so much. And at any point in time, you can always reach out to me. I'm available on LinkedIn as Kevin Tui. The I is definitely something that you are supposed to put it there, not me. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. Do enjoy the rest of your reInvent recap, I believe there's a lot that you're going to be learning from this. And yeah, see me when I see you. Can't wait to be in Pwani very soon. See you. Thank you so much. Thank you, the team from Swahili Pot. I don't know whether I have a friend of mine called Kevin Baraza. I don't know whether he's still in Swahili Pot, but the whole team, the whole organizers, thank you so much for this opportunity, and see you very soon. Thank you so much.